One of the most interesting things I ever learned from Dr. Muwali and the Royal Friends of Abyssinia, and all the people I've been talking to over the time, was the story of Jesus Christ. Shout out to the St. John the Baptist Association Sawa. Thanks for the information. I appreciate it very much. And for those who might be unsure, on the left, you have St. John the Baptist, and on the right, you have Yeshua the Christ or Jesus Christ. I always wanted to know about the story of Jesus Christ. And I remember at that time, I went to Shaguanas to meet a pastor, and we had a conversation, and I was basically asking him all the information he had about Jesus Christ, if he had any more information besides what he would have been reading. We had a conversation and whatnot. It went well. And after I learned from Dr. Muwali and the Royal Friends of Abyssinia that story about Jesus Christ, I decided to do some more reading. And, I turned up some really interesting stuff, and I really thought that I should share this for those who might be wondering more about this man. And, for people who have no idea, this was a very influential man, extremely influential, so influential that according to the timelines, 2,000 years later, and we are still having conversations about this person. I really thought it was very interesting. Before we go in depth, what I'm going to do is share some of the names of Jesus throughout the different cultures, throughout the times, as over the past millennia, and how it would give you a greater understanding of this person. And if you want to do some follow-up research, this will definitely help you. Jesus would have been the name in the Roman linguistics. The J came in around 1500, 1600. Now, in the Greek contemporary works, his name was Jesus. Good. In the Latin transliterations, Jesus. In the Hebrew transliterations, Yeshua. And then there's another one where his name was spelled Joshua, which is synonymous with Joshua. And of course, the story where the JDJ came in around 1500, 1600s. In the Amharic transliterations, his name would be spelled Aisus. So you're starting to see a pattern in the name, even though the name was transliterated in the different cultures. You would see that similarity in the spelling and the linguistic ID. In the ancient Arabic Islamic tradition, his name was Isa. And this is something that a lot of people have absolutely no idea about. In the Japanese account, Jesus passed through Japan and went to Shingo, right? The town of Shingo, the Japanese town of Shingo. And when he passed through this town in Japan, his name was Yesu or Yeshu. I really don't know the Japanese pronunciation. What I learned is that this man walked. I think that what we should do is pay respect to all the cultures who shared this, because these cultures had cross-cultural exchanges, but most importantly, all of them have separate writings and accounts of this man called Jesus Christ. Now, the thing with Jesus Christ, and this is what I learned, is that he also walked in India. And during that time, when he went to India and he was learning from the ancient Hindu sages, they called him a Krishna, meaning an enlightened one. So this is what he was called, right? According to sources in India who said that Jesus did walk. They call him a Krishna. And I just want to shed some light on the title Christ here. Good. It was also spelled this way, K-R-Y-S-T. And this here was a title, so that the man Jesus or Yesu or Yeshua or whatever you feel comfortable calling him earned the title of Christ after, and this is his story, this is a really, really popular story in all of the ancient cultures. He left home at the age of 12 years. So at 12 years old, he was a well-accomplished scholar, as he had learned from scholars surrounding him during his time growing up. The main area he was in Jerusalem, and other sources said that he was all over that area. He was to Egypt and whatnot. They said that Jesus Christ, when he left home at 12, he went to all these countries. He went to Greece, he went to Italy, all right, he went to Japan, he went to India, he went to Tibet, and he learned from all of the ancient cultures there and returned home to Jerusalem and the surrounding environs at the age of 30 years old. Some people say it was around 31, 32, 33, But nonetheless, it's around the 30s when he returned home, and then he went to the different synagogues at that time, and he was teaching what he had learned from all of these people. And so this is how he was known as a Christ or a Christed individual, simply because he had attained so much knowledge from all these cultures, and Jesus had recognized the synergy between the spiritual cultures of all of these people. This is something that really changed the way that I looked at this person, and I got to understand that this is why 2,000 years later, in the year 2025, we are still having conversations about this man.